Hey everybody, John Osborne here, Trader John O. Today is March 10th, 2017, and we're watching the markets after this morning's non-farm payroll announcement. We saw lots of the FX markets make a move higher today based on that news. And the news was that they beat the estimates. Okay, so first thing we're looking at is the Australian dollar loonie, and you can see we're still in this pennant channel on the, or pennant here on the 240 and along this trend line on the daily. So we're still seeing a mixed result here, but we're inside that pennant. We're going to break out in one way or the other, so keep an eye on that for potential entry. In the Aussie yen, you can see we went up and touched the top of this previous pennant top. We have this resistance trend line, and that's where we turned around and came back down again. That confirms that line, so watch for us to stay within this pennant as well. You can see the same thing happening here in the daily. We did break down a little bit out of that pennant, so we're probably going to want to adjust the line down a little bit. We'll wait a little bit more before we make that adjustment. Remember, there's still some pressure on the weekly for this one to continue to go higher, but we are seeing more bearishness. On the Aussie Kiwi, we were watching for a break above this resistance line here, and we got above it after the news this morning, but couldn't quite follow through. So to me, that's a failed bullish breakout, so watch for some more bearish activity. And it's not surprising to see it slow down at 1.09195. Okay, so that is a potential resistance point that we can break above that. We can watch to go higher, and we could go quite a bit higher if that does happen. In the Aussie US dollar, you can see that we broke down through this support here on the daily and didn't quite follow through, and we got the news for today and it pushed us back up again. So I'm not sure where this one's going to go. We're showing bearishness on the daily, but we're still a little bit bullish on the 240 now, and therefore we're mixed overall. In the euro loonie, we had some pretty good movement up, and we're right at this 1.43897 resistance right at this point here. We've broken above these previous two pivots here in the last couple of days. So if we can get above this resistance line here, we could see us head a little bit higher. We're seeing some pretty good strength on all three of our time frames, or the 240 daily and the weekly. Okay, and at the moment it takes some time for the monthly to catch up. In the euro cable, we're also moving higher. We've been watching this move up towards this line today. We broke right through that resistance trend line, and so our next resistance will be at 0.88509, so watch for that one to head higher. In the euro yen, we also are following the trend line break above on the daily right here, above this resistance trend line, and we've already gone up and pretty much broken this previous, or this higher level resistance trend line. So our next stop on the way up would be the high of 123.305 if we can continue to go higher. So let's see what's happening there. We are seeing some good bullishness on our daily and 240, and we're starting to see a move back up. But we'll see. This was a pretty strong bearish move here. We'll see if it can continue to go higher. A lot of stuff, like I said, a lot of stuff's getting pushed up from the news from this morning. We're watching for a break below this support line on the cable US dollar, and I don't believe we actually broke through that line, so we're still sitting there waiting to see if we can go lower. We're still showing some pretty good bearishness here. Wouldn't be surprised to see a break through there, so watch for a break below 1.21322, and we can adjust this line over and figure out exactly where that break point is. We want to see some good strength coming down to take that position. In the Kiwi loonie, you can see we've gotten ourselves into a bit of a channel here on the 240, and that's after breaking down out of this pennant that we've been watching. And we're bearish on the daily, bearish on the weekly, and we're neutral to bullish on the 240. So watch for us to break out of that channel. It looks like it wants to break lower, but we'll have to wait for the charts to tell us. And on the dollar loonie, you can see that we're following this move up, this nice move up that we were watching, a previous test of this pivot, then we had a little bit of congestion after breaking through this pivot, and we were on our way up to 1.35978, but we ended up getting a reversal. One of the markets that went down because of the news today, and we dropped. So where do we drop to? We drop back down to retest the 1.33866 support. So let's see what it does after it gets down there and tests it. We'll see if it continues to go higher. We are seeing bullishness on the daily and the weekly, although the bearishness on the 240 is showing after this move here. And finally, in the US dollar yen, we are in this channel here waiting to break out of this previous pivot here about 115.615, and this is after moving up and breaking higher than this previous swing high right here. So let's see if we can break above that 115.615 and see if we can continue to go higher. But we are seeing a little bit of bearishness today, and the weekly's looking bearish, so don't be surprised if we bounce off this and come back down again. So we want to see, we want to wait for those break points and take them then. So that'll do it for a look out for the next week, over the weekend. Hope you have a good weekend, and I'll see you at the next time.